I looked at the Canadian way of life. Like, you do notice what the city and what Canada is about when you look around and listen to people. You get a really good feeling for what's on people's minds.
For me as a Torontonian, I kind of feel like I know my city really well, but spending time with Maximum City, I got to go to places that I actually haven't been before in the city, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was great.
Cool. It's pretty funky fresh.
The question to be asked is, on the one hand, can we envision a better future for those spaces than is there today?
We see a lot of the same problems that are faced in different cities, but also a lot of different problems and aspects that can be improved upon with information that we gain from other cities.
I was so excited when we discovered it would be possible to do an exchange with Frankfurt that highlighted Maximum City.
We really believe in the power of young people to be agents of change in their cities. So when we bring young people together to be able to learn from one another, learn what's happening in Frankfurt, learn what's happening in Toronto, they're able to propose solutions to these new problems that we're facing as cities grow into the 21st century.
My name is Josh Fullen, and I work for Maximum City, which is an education and engagement organization. So the work we do is both for cities and schools and colleges and universities. We're located in Toronto, but we work around the world. I can't think of anything more important to do than to engage young people in solving the world's great problems, which will all be solved on the city stage in the 21st century. We have very good evidence this week that students have tremendous ideas to contribute. Their sense of social purpose and civic purpose is incredibly strong, and a challenge like this week really engages that sense of purpose for them to come up with solutions that we can all benefit from in cities in the 21st century.
So for example, at Scadding Court, we brought students, the German and Canadian students, to learn about kind of an innovative community hub where the hub kind of reflects the needs and kind of the opportunities and the aspirations of the community.
Hi everyone! Thanks so much for coming here today. Basically, we are a multi-service agency that we have a wide variety of social and recreational services and programs here.
But it's really fascinating to see how people can really help other people, and the sort of business incubators were really interesting as well.
It was very touching. It was an emotional moment for all of us, I would say, just to see how everyone is trying to help the city and the individuals in the city.
Throughout the week, we've been learning and using the transportation options across Toronto.
Learning to maneuver the distances, of course, involves learning to get around by public transit. Of course, that involves also a change of a system because it is different here in Toronto. You learn to sort of use that.
Whether it's a bus, whether it's walking, certainly a lot of walking, or TTC like subways and a bit of streetcars. And I think what's been interesting in kind of the students' design challenge and the solution that they've come up with is a focus on mobility for many of these sites, and that being integrating multiple modes of transportation. And I think it's a nice highlight to see that their concrete kind of experiences are reflected in their kind of final design solutions.
The greatest thing was the sidewalk labs.
The purpose of standing here is to show you some of the innovations that we've already talked about. Innovations that they're considering, that they're prototyping right beneath your feet, is this idea of heated sidewalks.
Because of the snow, the concrete on the streets pops out.
So when they heat up, the snow just melts. Instead of icing the floor, there will be probably less injuries from people falling or slipping on the ice.
These technologies are for our time, our future. So we need to be experts in using them, and we should be some of the people who are pioneering these new urban technologies and helping design our cities.
We're going to start the tour inside.
We saw a model of the project they are planning.
It's interesting to see how they tackle the building and planning of an entire district.
Technology is the future.
Technology is not the only source of innovation. The innovation is really about thinking differently about concepts and sort of removing sort of what we know today to be true about real estate and housing and things like that. And so I think a student program who's also thinking about this is really incredible because this is just new viewpoints and sort of really thinking fundamentally different.
We shouldn't sit down, we just stand.
Not yet, I'll bring her in and then we can sit down after that, okay?
All
So
right.
go on.
That's great.
All right?
All right.
You ready? Nobody's chewing gum. Right? If you are, get rid of it. She rocks. She's an amazing woman. If you ever get a chance, Google her.
So we have met the Lieutenant Governor twice now. She visited our school the week before we flew to Toronto. I did not expect her to be so personal. She was very open to our ideas, to what we had to share with her. She was interested. Yeah, she was very nice, very open. A great representative of the Queen, I would say.
What an exchange like Maximum City does is creating a platform that enables students to actually reflect on their reality, to distinguish and identify future challenges, and that gives them a set of skills by way of various examples of how they can actually create and actively shape their future.
Young people are being leaders in their communities and movements, especially now.
We like to show the city off. We like to explore some hidden gems, and I think it's been really great this week to be able to show them our beautiful city and some of the less explored places that are just as interesting and help make Toronto the wonderful city that it is.
What I learned today is that if it's young people like yourselves who are in charge of planning, the ideas are definitely there. That you are bringing forward ideas that, frankly, our planners have not envisioned. And as you're thinking through both the beautiful visions, think through the process, think through the implementation of what it will take to break down those barriers that have led us to leave these spaces essentially unappreciated for decades, and how you will achieve, not just dream up, but achieve the visions that you've really put so much time and thought into, and that I think are really wonderful. And all of these spaces would benefit from the proposals you put forward.
Young people keep proving me right. If you give them something interesting to do, their civic and social purpose will engage, and they will make a difference in the world around them. So thank you very much.